And once again, I have to come on live to defend some more dumb crap that I see on media. So I just woke up from a nap. I was planning on going back to my nap, but my guy NFL.Scotland on Instagram just had the nerve to pee me off before I go back to take my nap. My guy says the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 7-9. We're going to lose to the freaking Arizona Cardinals, and we're going to lose to the New York Jets. Right? First, he already had me peed off when he said we were going to lose to the New York Jets and the freaking Arizona Cardinals. This dude also had the audacity to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers are no longer elite on offense. So we lose one guy. The Pittsburgh Steelers lose one guy, and we're no longer elite on the offensive side of the ball. My guy, do you not know how many good elite wide receivers have come and gone out of Pittsburgh? How many times do I have to give this doggone lecture? Okay? We had Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP. He left, went to New York. Hines Ward retired. We lost Mike Wallace. We lost Anton Randall L. We lost Emmanuel Sanders. And we lose Antonio Brown. And we still make it to the playoffs without those guys, right? You see, that's the thing that pees me off. Now, this guy said 8-8, 9-7. All right, I wouldn't be making this video. But 7-9 losing to the freaking Arizona Cardinals? The Arizona freaking Cardinals. Are you freaking serious? I don't care how often Pittsburgh plays down the competition. Nowhere in God's name will we lose to the worst team in the NFL talent-wise. No freaking way. These Instagram pages... Dude said we're going to go 7-9. We're no longer elite on offense. All we lost was Antonio Brown. We still had Juju. But Pro Football Focus said we had the best offensive line in the NFL. We got 2 former All-Pros. We got 3 Pro Bowlers on our offensive line. So how the hell are we no longer elite on the offensive freaking side of the ball? They said our defense is horrible. Dude, we had the 6th best defense in the NFL. The 6th best defense in the NFL last season. So how are we horrible on defense when we arguably got better on defense? We have a better team than what we've had on the defense side of the ball the last 2 freaking seasons. Steven Nelson is terrible? What the hell? Steven Nelson was the best cornerback on the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and they had the worst secondary in all of the NFL. Are you serious? Mark Barron? He's good in coverage. We haven't had a good coverage linebacker since God knows freaking when. Are you serious? We got Devin Bush. Dude said Devin Bush was a 2nd round talent. Dude, Devin Bush was the 2nd best linebacker in this draft class. How was he a 2nd round talent? Are you serious? Devin Bush is a 2nd round talent? He was arguably supposed to go top 10. He was a top 10 talent. Mel Kiper. Freaking Daniel Jeremiah. All of the draft experts said Devin Bush was one of the best linebackers in the draft class. So how the hell is Devin Bush a 2nd round talent? How? How? He's literally the same player as Devin White, but smaller. These Instagram pages pee me off, man. 7-9? 7-9? No longer elite on offense? We lost Antonio Brown and we're no longer elite on the offensive side of the ball. Last time I checked, we got the best coaching staff, best quarterback in the division, best offensive line in the division. We're literally the best team in the division. All Cleveland has is talent. And we have a better quarterback than Cleveland. Are you serious? Are you serious? Devin Bush was a top 10 talent. A top 10 talent. One of my guys said, hold up. Bush was not projected to go top 10 though. But he was a top 10 talent though. Most of the draft experts say he was a top 10 talent. 2nd behind Devin. He's literally the same player as Devin White. Can do everything Devin White can do. Just smaller. Literally. I don't know how people think the Pittsburgh Steelers are no longer elite on offense. Ben Roethlisberger had a 16-11 touchdown interception ratio when he was forcing the ball to Antonio Brown. We lost to Denver or Oakland because Ben Roethlisberger was trying to force the ball to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown went on that doggone barber cut show and was talking crap about Ben Roethlisberger, talking about something. How the hell am I supposed to catch the ball when you threw it to the defensive lineman? Because he was trying to throw it to you. He tried to force the ball to Antonio Brown on the goal line in Denver, got picked off, and did the same thing against Oakland. Antonio Brown was a claw. Antonio Brown is a great player, but we're going to be a better team without Antonio Brown, and we got Juju Smith-Schuster. 7-9. Oh my goodness. I woke up from my nap. I was going to go back and take my nap, and I saw that bull crap on Instagram. I don't know. I saw one Instagram post said Stephon Diggs and Big Ben were overrated. Crazy. You see, as a Steelers fan, I know how to be unbiased. As a Steelers fan, I say we could. As a Steelers fan, I think we can go 10-6. I wouldn't be surprised if we went 8-8 or 9-7. But anything less than 8 wins, Mike Tomlin will be freaking fired. The Pittsburgh Steelers haven't had a losing season in how many years? The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers had a losing season, I can't even freaking recall. It's been like almost, 2 decades since the Pittsburgh Steelers had less than 8 wins? The less wins, the most, pretty much the worst season we had was 2014 when we missed the playoffs and we went 8-8. And I think the only reason I forgot what year. I don't know if it was 2013 or 2014. I think it was 2013. We ended up missing the playoffs because in the game against the Dolphins, Antonio Brown stepped out of bounds. In that snow game, he stepped out of bounds, and that costed us the game. And it got reviewed, and the touchdown got overturned. But I think that's the only time this last decade we missed the playoffs. We went to the playoffs with Ben Roethlisberger on one leg in 2015. Lost Antonio Brown, had no Le'Veon Bell, had a practice squad running back on our roster, literally had a depleted wide receiving core, and still beat the Bengals, and would have beaten the Denver Broncos if it wasn't for Jordan Townsend, that practice squad running back, fumbling the ball and costing us the game against Denver. I remember that play. That play will forever stick with me. It's just like the Tim Tebow play in overtime. I would never forget those plays. Jordan Townsend never fumbled that ball against Denver. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Denver Broncos and go face the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. I don't know how Pittsburgh goes 7-9 with the talent that we still have on the offensive side of the ball with one of the best offensive lines in all of football. I don't understand that. I don't. Name a team that has missed the playoffs with a top 5 offensive line. I can't name one. We made good. Diggs is a little overrated. I don't think we go under 9 wins, 6-10. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't think Stephon Diggs is overrated. I always thought Stephon Diggs was a little bit underrated in my opinion. Now, when it comes to Madden, I think he's a little bit overrated. I think Madden said that Madden gave him a 93 overall. I won't say he's a 93 overall. I think in Madden he's overrated. I don't think he's a 93 overall, but I think he's like a 89 or 88. But I think Stephon Diggs is pretty solid. But, I mean, I don't know how this dude says we're going to go freaking 7-9. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. We haven't had a losing season in decades. 2003. So just because we lose Antonio, does he not know the organization that the Pittsburgh Steelers are? The Pittsburgh Steelers are literally the gold standard of how you run the franchise in the NFL. And the NFL, teams that people try to build their franchise from are how the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers build their franchises. We are literally one of the gold standards of how the organization should be ran and maintained. We've only missed the playoffs once this decade. JT on Heinz Field pit ran today. People, Ben is at 85 and Matt. See, I get that Big Ben is regressing. Okay, I get that people can say that. I would let people. I don't get mad when people say Big Ben is regressing. He led the league in passing yards because he threw the ball a lot. Oh, I don't get mad when people say Big Ben is regressing because at this point I have to accept the fact that Big Ben is regressing. He's not the same quarterback that he is at home as he is on the road. So he's regressing in that department. But I'm not going to let people completely say that Big Ben still isn't the best quarterback in the AFC North. The quarterbacks that we have in the AFC North, Andy Dalton, Lamar Jackson, and freaking Baker Mayfield. You're freaking smoking weed if you think that Big Ben isn't better than Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Andy Dalton. We still have the best coaching staff. We have the best offensive line. We still have a pretty good wide receiving core, a solid group of tight ends as well, and the best offensive line in football. And I'm not even saying that. I'm not even saying that's facts. That's facts. I'm not even saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers have the best offensive line just because I'm a Steelers fan. Because you guys know on this channel, all I do is give non-biased opinions. But this is facts. According to Pro Football Focus, Pittsburgh had the best offensive line in football. So, what's up, Michael Mike, man? Michael Mike, man. Somebody on Instagram got me started. Somebody said the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to go 7-9 and are no longer lead on offense and have a horrible defense, despite what the stats say that we had the 6th best defense in the NFL. Last time I checked, we had over 50 sacks last season, which was top 5 in the NFL. And Big Ben is regressing. This is the same guy that said Big Ben wasn't a top 10 quarterback. I don't know how. I don't get it. I'm an unbiased fan, and it makes me mad when I see people just completely crap on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know I'm a fan, but I know how to be realistic. If the Pittsburgh Steelers suck, I'm saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to suck. I say that we win 10 games, 9 games. I wouldn't be mad if we went 8-8. To be honest, I think we can go as low as 8-8 and go as high as 11 wins, maybe 12. But I don't get how somebody can say we can literally go 7-9 when we have one of the best offensive lines in football. 12 pros, 2 Pro Bowlers. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then it still makes me mad how people are still talking about how we lost Le'Veon Bell. We went a whole season without Le'Veon Bell. James Conner, his replacement, went to the Pro Bowl. Jalen Samuels was a 4th-string running back going into training camp around this time last season and had literally 172 rushing yards against New England Patriots behind the same offensive line that D'Angelo Williams back a few years. Anybody remember when D'Angelo Williams was playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years ago back in 2015 and he was leading the league and rushing for the first 4 games when Le'Veon Bell was suspended for PEDs or substance? He did something. And D'Angelo Williams replaced Le'Veon Bell for the first 4 or 5 weeks. He was top 5 of the NFL in rushing, behind the same offensive line Le'Veon Bell had. I don't get how people say we can go 7-9. I just think that's really disrespectful. LL Steelers always exactly 5,000 plus yards. They will be a contender like every year. Plus they have no distractions. Bell is in the pack. And then this dude tried to say we think we got rid of distractions, but Big Ben is a distraction because he calls out players. Aaron Rodgers calls out players. Tom Brady calls out players. And he cussed out Josh McDaniels on the sidelines one time, if I'm not mistaken. Even as a Patriots fan, I disagree about the Pittsburgh Steelers having a losing season. Exactly. Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots are literally the gold standard of how you run an NFL franchise. And my phone is freaking lagging. What is going on? Dang, somebody call me if I'm still on, man. Oh my God, I got disconnected. Wow. I had to come back because I'm not done yet. The Patriots fan, I disagree about the Pittsburgh Steelers having to lose. Exactly. Come on. Give credit when credit is due. Exactly. Baker went 1-5 against teams with a winning record. LO. Exactly. Like I don't get it. We literally had the toughest division in all of football. The Bengals could make the playoffs, even though that's looking pretty much out the window because their offensive line is god awful. They lost 2 starters. They lost Jonah Williams. They lost Colin something who went to retirement. So their season, I think, might be a little bit over, depending on how that offensive line is. The Baltimore Ravens, I mean, I think they can end up being a playoff team, but we know it's going to be on Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are only going to go as far as Lamar Jackson takes them. And then the Cleveland Browns, it's just the fact that they have too many. I mean, they have a top roster, but can they end up, how good of a coach is Freddie Kitchens? You know, they're going to have to win those games against the New England Patriots at New England. That's going to be, I'm going to be watching. They're going to have to face the Seattle Seahawks. They got to face the LA Rams. They have to face a lot of tough teams. So, I mean, I'm not going to give Cleveland the division. I'm not going to say that Pittsburgh can win the division easily. I mean, I still think we can win the division, but I came out and said that I think Cleveland will end up winning the division. This is a freaking Pittsburgh Steelers fan saying this, because normally the best team in the division normally wins the division. So, I mean, this is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan saying that I think Cleveland will win the division, because the best team in the division, talent-wise, always ends up winning the division most of the time. Browns, Steelers, 1, 2 in the AFC North, not necessarily in that order, will take Browns. Yeah, exactly. But I think Cleveland could end up winning the division. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland went 11-5, but I don't think Cleveland is overrated. I mean, when you have an off season that the Cleveland Browns have, I don't see how you can call them overrated. They got Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. That's arguably the best 1-2 receiver punch in the NFL. Jarvis Landry is a top 15 wide receiver. Odell Beckham is a top 5 wide receiver, maybe top 3. And then you also got Nick Chubb, got Duke Johnson back there. Then you got Kareem Hunt back there when he comes back from his suspension. And then you got tight end David Njoku. Then you got Olivier Vernon, who went to the Pro Bowl last season on the other side of Myles Garrett. Then you got Sheldon Richardson at that defensive tackle position. So the Cleveland Browns are pretty solid. Pretty much the biggest flaw with Cleveland is at that safety position, and they got Morgan Burnett back there. So I think they're going to be pretty solid. So I think Cleveland could end up winning the division. But the point is that it's no way possible that I see the Pittsburgh Steelers going 7-9. If Pittsburgh goes 7-9, Mike Tomlin needs to get fired. No way we can miss the playoffs 2 years and him not get fired. And this is a dude who hasn't even did anything. You see, I agree with you. See, me as a Steelers fan, right? When other Steelers fans, most of the time, the only backlash that I get as a Steelers fan is when I call out Mike Tomlin. Every time I call out Mike Tomlin, Steelers fans start calling me a fake fan and things like that. Listen, I'm going to say what it is. I don't think Mike Tomlin is a top 10 coach. If Mike Tomlin was Mike Tomlin is in that same category as an Andy Reid. When it comes times to win those big games, we never win those big games in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter how good your resume looks. You can have the best resume in the world and work for Amazon, but if you don't live up to the expectations that are given to you at Amazon, then you're not a good worker. Mike Tomlin is considered a good coach in many people's eyes, but as a Steelers fan, he fails to live up to expectations. Ever since he became the head coach, ever since Mike Tomlin became the head coach of Pittsburgh, right? He won that Super Bowl against Seattle, okay? But that was really who you gonna call it? Bill Cowher's team. Most of the players on that roster were from Bill Cowher. Well, against Arizona in 2008. That was Bill Cowher's team basically. Then we went back in 2010. Ever since then, what has happened ever since Mike Tomlin became the head coach of Pittsburgh after 2010? Expectations went from here. We went from competing for Super Bowls, then we went down here. We lost to Denver. We lost to Tim Tebow in overtime. Okay, expectations went down again, went down. And now the points of Steelers fan, we're now saying we're okay with making it to the divisional round. I feel as a Steelers fan, whenever our expectations go from, if we don't win a Super Bowl our season is a failure, to being okay with losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the divisional round, then I think Mike Tomlin needs to get the eyebrow, because I don't think that's what should happen as an NFL head coach. You should always maintain the same level of success and same level of expectations, or your expectations should increase. Anytime your expectations go down, then you got to give the coach the eyebrow. It's like Alabama football. If Nick Saban and Alabama does not win the college football playoffs, and they are not in the college football playoffs for 2 straight seasons, then everybody's going to be on Nick Saban's behind. Expectations never go down. The New England Patriots for the last few seasons are the example of that. New England's either in the AFC Championship game or they're in the Super Bowl. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are supposed to be. The Pittsburgh Steelers have failed expectations for how many years now? For how many years? In 2017, the Pittsburgh Steelers went 13-3, and everybody was saying when we lost New England, Mike Mitchell said that it doesn't matter, we're gonna play New England again, and we were supposed to play New England again. But what happened? We lost to the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars and lost to Blake Bortles, the guy who can only hit crossing routes. And Mike Tomlin's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach and couldn't even stop Blake Bortles. Had Blake Bortles back there dropping back looking like Tom Brady. Blake Bortles was back there doing this. Oh, God, I changed. Man, what Blake Bortles was doing, man? Blake Bortles was back there driving back. His bit behind, stepping up in the pocket, throwing darts to freaking, I don't even know who the wide receivers were that season, but Blake Bortles was destroying us. Tom didn't have 5 turnovers. But you see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I know a lot of people are going to say Mike Tomlin isn't the player, isn't on the field doing the things like that and stuff like that. But part of being a good NFL coach is being able to make adjustments. And Mike Tomlin just doesn't really make those necessary adjustments. The best coaching game Mike Tomlin has had the last few years was when we beat New England last season. That was his best game coaching. That last drive against New England, on that inside the 20, when Mike Tomlin found a way to keep the New England Patriots out the end zone, that was his best coaching game that he has had the last few seasons. I never saw Mike Tomlin coach that good in my life. Let's not forget the previous season in 2017 when the Pittsburgh Steelers defense was on the field and Gronkowski literally caught the ball every play and scored on us. So go ahead. Anybody remember that game? Sean Davis dropped that interception. We already knew what time it was. When I saw Sean Davis drop that interception, I said, oh, man, he messed up. Tom Brady threw the ball to Gronkowski. Every single play went down and scored. I was so destroyed that game, and I bet somebody $40 on that game, too. See what y'all are saying in the comment section. JT won trophies, bro. Exactly. You can't adjust to a turnover-happy court. But look, though. That's part of Big Ben's game, though. Big Ben is an aggressive quarterback, though. If Big Ben isn't that aggressive, then the Pittsburgh Steelers offense isn't going to be that good, though. Big Ben is an aggressive quarterback. That's part of his nature. He has to be aggressive. That's what Big Ben is known for, standing up. Big Ben is known for taking big, risky plays. And most of the time, they work out and they fail. But that's the thing about Big Ben. Every time Big Ben holds the ball in the pocket, every Steelers fans know this, like when Big Ben drops back, he always, most of the time, steps up in the pocket and he holds on to the ball for like a few seconds longer despite the offensive line caving in and stuff like that. And he'll step up in the pocket and he'll hold on to the ball longer, which is a risk because if you hold on to the ball longer, then you risk the fact of a defensive end coming and ripping it out. He also forces the ball in the tight windows. He's basically like, here's what Big Ben does. He's basically, what he does is the same thing what Jameis Winston does in Tampa, but Big Ben does it better. Basically, Jameis Winston, he does basically the same thing Big Ben does, but for some reason it just doesn't work out for him. Not saying that Jameis Winston and Big Ben are the same, but that's pretty much what they are. They're very aggressive. And that's what Big Ben is. If Big Ben is aggressive, then the offense doesn't work. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense for the last few seasons, we've been like a vertical offense. Like we like to attack the defense vertically. And every time your offense involves you throwing the ball deep, then of course you're going to run the risk of turning the ball over and stuff like that. Versus New England, when all they do is do check down plays and take what the defense gives them. It's like a high risk, high reward offense. So really, Big Ben plays into the offense. Now that 5 turnover game against Jacksonville, I don't know what the hell that game was. I don't know if Big Ben was just crapping himself or if the Jacksonville Jaguars defense was just that good. But I'm just going to say that wasn't a good. I'm just going to say both because Jacksonville's defense was terrifying that season. And Big Ben, I don't even know. I don't even know what happened in that game. But the point is, I'm going to go back to the fact that this guy, NFL.scouting on Instagram, go look him up and go say that JT Sports sent you and said that you need to delete your Instagram page or never talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers again if you think that we're going to go 7-9. I'm just playing, but I don't see how everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I respect that. I'm never going to disrespect somebody for their opinion. If you think Pittsburgh's going to go 7-9, okay. But I'm just going to disagree with it strongly because I don't think Pittsburgh can end up going 7-9 and ends up missing the playoffs. If we miss the playoffs, I think we missed the playoffs with an 8-8 or 9-7 record. But I don't see us missing the playoffs this year just because we lost Antonio Brown. Just because we're that's what I expect as a Steelers fan. I expect us, even though we lost a guy like Antonio Brown, I expect us to still be playoff caliber contenders. And we're not New York Giants fans. Like, you see, here's the difference, right? When Odell Beckham got traded, the New York Giants felt like their world ended. Odell Beckham was their whole entire team. When Antonio Brown got traded, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, well, most of us were like, you know what? We lost Antonio Brown, but we lost so many good receivers in the past, so it doesn't really mean anything. And we got James Conner. Hopefully, we go back to what we used to be a few years ago and go back to that smash mouth style offense, which I like a lot better, especially with the group of halfbacks that we have on our roster. And since our wide receiving core isn't that, it's a little bit of a question mark. I think we should go back to that smash mouth offense, or at least run the ball a little bit more than what we did in the past, instead of getting so reliant on Big Ben in the passing game. And I like the fact that if we go back to a smash mouth style behind that good offensive line that we have with James Conner, we also got Benny Snell, and we got Jalen Samuels as well. We have a perfect 3-man rotation if we want to do a smash mouth offense. So I would like to see us run the ball a lot more than what we've been doing the last few seasons. That also keeps teams like the New England Patriots off the field and getting our defense killed. Improved D plus some beast receivers equals super. Pitt never drafted a QB to take over Big Ben. I won't be surprised if Pittsburgh goes 14-2, win a Super Bowl to shut everyone up. Smash Mouth is a champion. Exactly. I agree with what everybody is saying. I mean, like, Smash Mouth, I agree. Everybody wants to get all flashy and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I think Smash Mouth, this is a good way to go when you have a roster built like Pittsburgh. Now, it's been some pass heavy attacks that have won Super Bowls in the past, like I can't even remember one. I don't even remember. I don't even remember. But freaking, it's been some past happy teams that make it to the Super Bowl, but Smash Mouth wins championships. Like that year, Denver went crazy when Peyton Manning lit the league on fire in 2014. They went to that Super Bowl against Seattle and got absolutely obliterated. And then in 2015, they went back to a smash mouth style offense because Peyton Manning, his play was falling off. He was a shell of himself. Peyton Manning, Father Time hit Peyton Manning really quick, boy. I don't think that would happen to Tom Brady, but Father Time hit him so hard, boy. But the fact that they won the Super Bowl is just a smash mouth offense. All normally win Super Bowls. Philadelphia didn't really have a smash mouth offense. Like they ran the ball pretty effectively, but that wasn't pretty much the whole entire game plan. But I mean, it's crazy the fact people said that Pittsburgh would go 7-9. That really set me off some kind of way. Left the chat to my Steelers lineup lottery numbers. And look at Baltimore. They lost at least 11 players on both sides. Yeah, but Baltimore, you see, I don't think a lot of people are talking about Baltimore losing a lot of talent, but even though they lost a lot of talent, they lost like older veterans and stuff like that and got younger. Like they lost Terrell Suggs. He had 7 sacks last season. They got Peanut. I can't pronounce the name, so his nickname is Peanut. But this dude had like 6 sacks that didn't even start last season. So I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, like they lost a lot of talent, but they also got young. They lost a lot. They were confident letting that younger talent go because that older talent go because they had younger guys. So I mean, eventually you can't rely on the old veterans forever. It's like the LA Rams. Like what they do is instead of building through the draft, they always plug in and fill their needs in through free agency. And that's okay if you got a quarterback who isn't getting paid that much. But once Jared Goff gets paid, the LA Rams, they're not going to have any more cap space to sign any good players. So therefore, they're going to have to rely on the players they already have. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think we go 7-9. I agree if we go 8-8. I seen a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers predictions. A lot of people had us going 8-8, 9-7, 10-6. I say we go 10-6. I wouldn't be surprised if we go 9-7. But 7-9, I think that's a little bit pushing. I can't see us going 7-9. Some a hater said we were just going to go 4-12. You're smoking dick if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 4-12. No way in hell we go 4-12. And if we go 4-12, Mike Tomlin would definitely be out the door. Definitely be out the door. And I mean, The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the best franchises in the NFL, so it's no way we go 7-9. And you don't see an organization like a Pittsburgh go 7-9 just because they lose like one good player. We also lost Jesse James. I don't think that's going to be a big loss, but ain't nobody talking about that. Everybody's just talking about Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell leaving. If you're going to talk about us losing players, talk about all the players we lost. Talk about how we lost Jesse James. Talk about how we lost Antonio Brown. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is a loss because we replaced him with James Conner. But I'm finna get off this, guys. I just had to go ahead and vent my frustration because I thought that was pretty doggone crazy and absurd that the fact that this dude on Instagram said that Pittsburgh was going to go 7-9 and we're no longer a lead on the offensive side of the ball. Name 10 offenses off the top of your head that are going to be better than Pittsburgh this season. I can't. I mean, I can name the top 10 offense. Before I leave this last year, I'm gonna name my top 10 offenses for 2019. All right, Pittsburgh's going to be number 10. Atlanta, no random order. Basically, I'm gonna just name 10 offenses I think that are going to be top 10. Cleveland. I mean, that team, how can they not have a top 10 offense? Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Atlanta has a lot of talent on the offense side of the ball. Who else? The Chargers. Oh, this is really hard. The Rams, the Saints. I think the Vikings could end up being there. Who else? This is really tough. Can't really name seven. I don't know if Seattle can be a top 10 team. Houston, I think Houston can be a top 10 offense if they're able to stay healthy. This is really tough when I don't have them down. Top 10 offenses. I gotta go division by division. Kansas City there. But yeah, man, those are my top 10 offenses, man. But yeah, I'm pretty much finna end this. I just had to go ahead and vent my frustration there because I don't know how Pittsburgh goes 7-9. We basically have the same team from last year. Only player we lost was Antonio Brown, man. But thank you guys for coming on to this live while I vent my frustration. It's crazy, man. Make sure to go follow NFL.scouting on Instagram and tell him that JT said that that JT Sports said that tell him that JT Sports underneath that Pittsburgh Steelers post. Go ahead and comment and say that JT Sports said that there's no way Pittsburgh goes 7-9 and just give him hell down in the comment section. Just give him hell because that's absurd. Thanks for watching.